Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at Chaos Thunder Dragon Infinite Negates. Of course I have to put Infinite Negates in anything. This is a pretty consistent deck, honestly. You're very easily able to make Curious thanks to the Sacred Beast engine, which is just a one card Curious along with discarding card, which helps set up your graveyard even further. So I'm just going to show some test hands I had. It's kind of similar to Pendulum, where you don't necessarily have any combos, you just have to play with the hand you get. So let's start off with our duel. We'll start off with a opening of the Spirit Gates, which will search Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast will search Chaos Summoning Beast. You can if you have either one of these in your hand, then if you have Dark Beckoning Beast in your hand, you just normal summon and search Spirit Gates and then search Chaos Summoning Beast. You just want to get these three cards in circulation. So now we will go ahead and normal summon the Chaos Summoning Beast, since we get an extra normal summon for a Fiend monster with Dark Beckoning Beast, and then we'll link it off into a Link Repo. We're going to use the Spirit Gates in order to discard Thunder Dragon Dark and summoning back the Chaos Summoning Beast. We'll use the Thunder Dragon Hawk that we have in our hand to revive our Thunder Dragon Hawk, not Hawk, Dark, and then we'll go into Curious. Curious will be milling a copy of Thunder Dragon Roar. If you already have a Thunder Dragon Roar in your graveyard, you want to mill Chaos Betrayer, which is basically a Chaos monster banished one light and dark, except it is from the graveyard, which is very interesting. We're going to use Curious Mill 3. Looking at our mills, we didn't really mill anything particularly great. We just milled the second Thunder Dragon Roar, but milling does definitely help you a lot. We're going to go into Reproducus. Our Collapse Ribbon will get a search. We're going to banish the Thunder Dragon Roar for a Wyver Buster, and then our Thunder Dragon Roar will search Thunder Dragon Matrix. We'll use Reproducus, changing our card into a Winged Beast, and then we can go into the Symbolic Bird of Sovereignty. Now we link into the Unit Carrier. We chain block our Thunder Dragon Dark because we want it to resolve, and we'll be getting a copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion. We're going to activate Fusion, shuffling back a bunch of cards to go into Thunder Dragon Titan. We'll use the Unit Carrier to equip Thunderbird to a Simorgh, and during the end phase, Simorgh will trigger, summoning an Apex Avian from deck. So in case you don't know how Infinite Negates work, as long as you're able to get Mist Valley Apex Avian and Thunderbird in circulation, you can infinitely negate any card your opponent does. Because what Apex Avian does is once per chain, if a card or effect is activated, you can bounce back when Mist Valley card you control in order to negate it. And what Mist Valley Thunderbird reads is that when it's bounced back, you can just summon it back. So you can just loop these two cards over and over again. Your opponent activates an effect, you activate Mist Valley Apex Avian, negate it, and then Thunderbird will trigger summoning itself. When your opponent activates another effect, you can use Apex Avian, bounce back Thunderbird, negate it, Thunderbird will summon itself. It's infinite, and when your opponent tries to normal summon something and then try to attack over the Thunderbird, you can use Thunder Dragon Titan to just discard some of your Thunder Dragon cards in order to pop it, which is just very good. And that's our main reason for playing Thunder Dragon, since it has an in-archetype way to pop cards on the field. So that was our test hand number 1. You can very consistently make this field. Unfortunately, you do have the slight chance of milling an Apex Avian or Thunderbird off your Curious. If you do, I feel sorry for you. But let's get to the second test hand now. And right here we have our second test hand. Right here I'm going to be showcasing Chaos Betrayer, very interesting card, where it's just a Chaos monster except in the graveyard, where if it's in the graveyard you banish one light and dark to summon it. The main reason we run this is so that in case we're able to get our Thunder Dragon Roar in our graveyard through ways apart from Curious, you just send this up Curious instead. So that's nice. We're going to be starting off with our Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish the Dark. Dark will get us to search for a copy of Fusion. Searching Fusion off Dark is important because since we cannot make Verte Anaconda in this deck because we're summoning during the end phase, you kind of have to search Fusion because that's our only way to get into Titan. We're going to draw 2 again. We've drawn all 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Dark, unfortunately, but we just shuffled them back with Fusion, which is the beauty of it. We're going to normal summon our Dark Beckoning Beast, searching a 7 Spirit Gates Unleash, and then we'll use this in order to search the Chaos Summoning Beast. We'll link in the Link Repo, then we'll discard our Chaos Betrayer in order to go into stuff. Get the Chaos Space, so regardless of what we do, we're going to get the Thunder Dragon Dark and the Chaos Betrayer both in the graveyard, and we also get the White Dragon Wyver Buster, which in itself represents 2 summons, since we're searching the Wyver Buster 2, and since we're also going to go into Curious, dumping the copy of Thunder Dragon Roar, you'll be able to mill 3 now. We actually got a pretty decent mill of Thunder Dragon Matrix, so if we banish it, we can search another Thunder Dragon Matrix, which will help us generate our ammo for a pop for Thunder Dragon Titan, so that's nice. We banished the Roar so we can use its effect in order to summon a Matrix from our deck. Well, we were summoning it anyway, so it does make a difference. Unfortunately, since I forgot that I only run 2 Matrix, we won't get its adding effect, so we'll have to use our Thunder Dragon Fusion in a second. We're going to change that into Wing Beast. We're going to activate our Fusion, shuffle some cards back for Titan, and then it will be doing that. Since we now we can use our Wyvern Buster. As I said, it represents 2 summons, since you can search a Black Dragon, which is another summon, and then we'll use Chaos Betrayer, but specifically banishing the Thunder Dragon Matrix so that we can use its effect to search another copy of itself, and then we'll use our Collapse Serpent Medusa. We'll use Chaos Space, luckily drawing into Levianeer, and we also get a search for Wyvern Burster, so just like that we basically refilled our entire hand. And we are going to go into Levianeer. As you see, I have banished 3 monsters, so in case you had an opponent, you would be able to rip a card out of their hand, which is just super value. And we will also be setting the Forbidden Droplet, and then we'll use our Union Carrier in order to equip a Thunderbird, and we will pass. As I said, this is kind of the same end board, except thanks to a few draws, it's a lot better. Since we have a Forbidden Droplet, we can just we can set this Levianeer and the 7 Spirit Gates Unleash, and we can even send a Union Carrier since we don't even need it anymore. So just like that, we have 3 negates. If you want to banish your if you want to discard your Wyvern Buster, that's 4 negates on top of having a pop in the form of Thunder Dragon Matrix. So it's just insane. Infinite Negates are probably my favorite thing in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, which is why I have so many Infinite Negate videos on my channel. If you don't know, if you haven't checked them out, just check the eye in the top right corner, and I'll explain my card choices in the deck profile now. So right here I have the deck profile. It looks kind of messy, but I've kind of split it into sections to explain each part of it. So starting off with our Miss Valley Engine, Apex Avian, and Thunderbird. This is just for Infinite Gates, as I showcased. If you read them, you would definitely be able to get the gist of how they perform Infinite Gates. And next for a Thunder Dragon Engine, 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Roar. We run 2 of it just because you have a lot more ways to send it from the deck to the graveyard rather than from your hand to the graveyard. So that's the main reason why we run 2. You don't necessarily want to draw too much, but you do have lots of ways to send it to the hand to the graveyard anyways. 2 copies of Hawk. The main reason why we run 2 over 1, the philosophy behind only running 1 is that you're going to be searching it off Thunder Dragon Dark, but since we can make Verte Anaconda in this deck, we have to run the 2nd copy of it. I feel that running 3 is a bit overkill, and it kind of just takes up too much deck space at that point. And its banish effect isn't that great anyways, so I'm just running 2 for now. 3 copies of Thunder Dragon. Running the 3 copies of Thunder Dragon is just really nice. Not only does it deck thin for cards like your Curious Mill, your Chaos Space Draw, or your Allure of Darkness, deck thins for all of that, and on top of that, it's able to trigger your Thunder Dragon Titan twice in a turn, so you're able to just pop cards your opponent controls out of nowhere, on top of shuffling them back with Thunder Dragon Fusion. So if you have Thunder Dragon Fusion and 1 copy of Thunder Dragon in your hand, you'll be able to pop about, say, 6 cards off that alone, since you're using the 2nd Thunder Dragon 2. So next we run the 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Dark. This is probably one of your most important ones, since it's able to search Fusion, which is your main piece of removal in this deck. And Thunder Dragon Dark is just able to search any Thunder Dragon card. So in case you already have Fusion, Thunder Dragon Hawk is a very good card to search, just another body on the field. 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Matrix. We just run 2. You don't need to run any more than 2, honestly. It's just really good as another pop for Thunder Dragon Titan, as it can just search itself, so that's nice. And for our Chaos monsters, we have Thunder Dragon Duel. This is kind of just for more pure Thunder Dragon-ish plays, where you're able to just do Thunder Dragon stuff, you know. It's just another Chaos monster, and that's really what matters. 1 copy of your Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Levianeer is just able to hand loop. It's able to banish cards to trigger your Thunder Dragons, and that's our main way. It's able to pop cards on the field. This is definitely the best Chaos monster. out of all of them, so that's really nice. The Chaos Creator. This is a really good card where it's able to just summon one of your banished monsters, which is just super good in terms of this recurring material on top of being an extender, and it's able to recur those cards. The main problem with this effect is that since it shuffles back cards into your deck, it's a lot more difficult to resolve Thunder Dragon Fusion, but most of the time you are able to get enough Thunder Dragon monsters in your graveyard, so it doesn't really matter that much anyways. So the Chaos Creator is just a really fun card and really fun concept. One copy of Chaos Betrayer, in case you already have your Thunder Dragon Roar in the graveyard through the means of, say, your Batteryman Solar, your 7 Spirit Gates Unleash discard, your Chaos Space. You have a lot of ways to send it to the graveyard, so in case you have that in the graveyard, you can just mill Chaos Betrayer, and it's able to just summon itself from the graveyard as a Chaos monster, which is just super cool. And finally, for baby Chaos monsters, Collapse Serpent, Wyvern Buster, and Valkyria, all of them just need to banish one card from the graveyard. Valkyria is able to do further graveyard setup in case you don't have that, and these two are just able to extend like crazy, so you definitely need to run these three. And finally, for our normal summons, we run one copy of Aloof Lupine, 2 copies of Batteryman Solar, and 2 copies of Dark Beckoning Beast. You can also count 7 Spirit Gates Unleashed as a normal summon. I do run 8 of them, but you kind of have to run 8 because you want to see your Curious as often as possible. Aloof Lupine and Batteryman Solar are definitely some super power cards, and that's the main reason I run 42, because I don't want to run into too many normal summons. And I just run 2 Dark Beckoning Beast because you don't really need the third one that much necessarily. So that's because it is kind of a problem if you end up if it gets interrupted to something like an Ash or Imperm. If it does get interrupted and you have your 7 Spirit Gates Unleashed, then you're able to just revive it from the graveyard anyways, so that is just super value. Batteryman Solar is able to set up your graveyard along with summoning tokens each time you summon a Thunder monster, and Aloof Lupine is able to banish monsters from your hand and deck, which is just so good. And these 6 for sure. Chaos Summoning Beast, it's kind of a brick, you know. It's one of the few bricks you run in this deck, apart from, say, your Miss Valley engine, just since you're mainly because you are just using it as a level 1 monster in order to go into your Relinquished Anima and your Link Rebo. So that's the main reason for running that. And finally, we run our last few cards: 3 copies of your Allure of Darkness for consistency, 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus, just banishing monsters for free from the deck, 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Fusion. As you run 2 just because of you want to search of your Thunder Dragon Dark. In case you end up already hard drawing it, you can just search your Thunder Dragon Hawk, which is the main reason why I run it at 2 and 2. 2 copies of Chaos Space, just searching any of your Chaos monsters is super value. You want to see them as often as possible. And finally, 3 copies of Droplets. I'm kind of contemplating on whether I want to keep running Droplets, since so many modern day decks just end on Herald, so that just straight up invalidates Droplets. But Herald is actually pretty decent for Thunder decks, and specifically since you are able to trigger some extra cards. Next, for extra deck, we run Triple Titan. This is standard. The extra deck is not tied at all. You can change whatever you want except for say your 2 Titan, your 1 Curious Anima. It's just a pretty free deck, you know. So Triple Titan, you do sometimes make the Triple Titan just because you are kind of a madman, even though you're only running 2 copies of Fusion, which I find pretty funny. Actually, you don't really need a 3rd Titan if I think about it. You can probably take this out for something like a Cerberus, for example. Nightmare Cerberus, I mean, just since it's another form of interruption. But at least you have to at least run 2 Titans, because you're able to, the value it provides of popping cards as a quick effect. On top of it, it resists destruction, which is just super nice. 1 copy of your twin-headed Thunder Dragon. It does come up sometimes. I've mainly put it in for the memes, but do take that out. Next, you run the 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This is an auto win versus pretty much every single control deck. It can easily, I believe it's auto win versus Dinosaur too, because if you're able to resolve its effect to gain 1500 attack, they can't do anything. They literally cannot do anything against an untargetable monster, since you are easily able to make it with a level 5 or higher monster, since over half the deck is level 5 or higher anyways. one copy of Smorg for Sovereignty to summon your Apex Avian, one copy of your Curious in order to mill your Thunder Dragon Roar or your Chaos Betrayer sometimes. On top of that, it mills 3 cards, which is just super good in terms of your graveyard setup, but not as good if you're milling your Apex Avian Thunderbird, which is another reason why I bumped it up to 42. One copy of your Unit Carrier just to get your Thunderbird on the field, one copy of your Link Revo and Anima, this is for your Sacred Beast engine, just being able to go into the 1 card Curious, one copy of each Nightmare, this is really just squat removal, and one copy of IP Masquerena. In case you're able to make it during your end board, I'd say you can make it if you want during the end board if you have like tons of extenders, and then you can just go into like a Nightmare Unicorn during your end phase, which is just absolutely insane. And finally, we run the 1 copy of Access Code Talker. This ends games out of nowhere. This is definitely an extra deck staple, and you should never like not run this card. Absolutely insane. So that is the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. It's an incredibly fun deck because Thunder Dragon is just a nice deck in general, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I guess I'll see you next time. Goodbye.